Good morning, everybody. It's Becky here at Aunt Beck's Creations. And I'm sorry I wasn't on at noon yesterday. I just woke up feeling just a little off and really tired. I didn't sleep well the first couple nights of the week. And so I said, I'm just going to take the day. And my plans were I was going to go back to sleep. And I was almost asleep. And then there was this huge clack of thunder and lightning right on top of each other. So after that, I was wide awake. That's a little better. You don't want to see the trash can, do you? There we go. Oh, it's really washing out because this is white. Hang on, let me move the light again. Good morning, Marty. People were asking about you the other day, Marty. They said, has anybody seen Marty lately? Oh, it's just hard to do white on here. Sorry about that, guys. So I'm just working on this ornament that I started with Carol a few weeks back. I just got to do this tree and then put some gold on that star, which these here were already embroidered on this fabric. You can see it in the background because this was a piece of upholstery fabric from one of those sample books. Somebody sent it to me. And so I was like, oh, that'd be cool to do. And there's another one of those stars underneath that other tree. And I had to really stitch densely to cover it. I'm hoping I don't have to put quite as many stitches in this tree. And I'm just going to put like 3 different greens, and then I'll put a little bit of snow, and then I'm going to call this tree good. And I'm just doing a random stitch. Good morning, Nashua. Because technically there shouldn't be any snow or snowmen on my Christmas tree because we don't get snow until like January or February here in South Carolina, especially here in the central part of South Carolina. So today is December 1st. Those that do Christmas, do you already have your Christmas tree up? I do not. I have no idea where I'm going to set a Christmas tree. And we don't have any little ones in our lives. And I don't know. I'm not feeling Christmas this year. But tonight is the city I live in is known as Christmas in Casey is our city theme. So they do Christmas up big time. And tonight is the big light up and drive through with caroling and stuff over at City Hall. And I'm supposed to be at my sister's at 7:00. So what I'm thinking is I might do the drive through at the Christmas thing, which will be crazy at 6, but I'm afraid it'll make me late. But if I don't go to that before I go to dinner, it'll be over by the time, because it's 6 to 8. It's only a 2-hour thing. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm still thinking. Another thing is I was thinking I might get Scott to drive me. My sister Rhonda doesn't live very far from me, but it will be totally dark outside, and I have not driven after dark very much lately because it's so hard for me to see at night. At CVS, I was looking at these night driving glasses that fit over your glasses. I was wondering if those would help. But I think it would be fun to do the drive-through. Maybe that would get me in the mood to put my own tree up over the weekend. Guess I just need to get out there and be part of the rest of the human race during this during this holiday. But I have gotten so into being at home. I am such a homebody. I would rather be at home, doing things around here and working on arts, crafts, and stuff. I was watching a video this morning, and I can't remember her channel, but she made a Christmas tree garland out of her leftover fabrics. If I can remember, I'll go get the link and put it in the description box. It's a really pretty garland, and it uses your scraps up. You have to use woven fabric for it. And I bought some chunky little clothespins to hold Christmas cards as they come in. So I need a garland, but I was just going to do like a regular Christmas garland. Not garland, but bunting, like bunting with little flags and Christmas fabrics. I'll get it out eventually. And then just clip my cards on as they come in. I could hang my wreath on the door. That'll get me started. And I know that, what is it called? Vlogmas is going on. A lot of people are doing that. I've tried doing it in the past. I just don't do enough Christmas related stuff to fill up a video every day of the week. Yeah, I agree, Marty. It's just so peoply out there. And anytime I've left the house and gone anywhere, everybody seems angry and just hateful. And I'll say, I'll smile at someone and say hello, and they just dart their look away from me and just look so angry and bitter. I'm just so over all of that. It's like, come on, life is short to go around this angry all the time. I don't know. I guess I just don't want to be out in public these days. And our city's growing and the traffic's getting heavier and heavier. And Scott and I keep thinking about moving somewhere to a small town in the middle of nowhere. But then we'd fit in there about as well as we don't fit in here because of the population. Because of our religious and political beliefs, put it that way. But then that happens no matter where you are on this earth, there's going to be somebody that hates you because of those two reasons. Or they'll shun you, or, politics and religion. Such a division, I want everybody to be happy with whatever they want to believe. I just don't want to be bothered with things I don't believe in. Put it that way. I'll tolerate them and I'll let you participate in whatever you want to do. It's just don't start telling me, I'm going to wherever because I don't believe the same as you. And I just don't believe that stuff. But people do get dug into their beliefs, and their beliefs are the only ones anybody should follow. Sorry, getting a little preachy myself here this morning. It's just, man, what brings joy to your heart should matter only to you. It might not bring the neighbor the same joy, and that's okay. Everybody's following their own path. And I just think everybody should be respectful of each other and not degrade another person because their beliefs are different than yours. Celebrate their happiness. I think that would be better than trying to push each other's beliefs onto another. Just me saying. Good morning, Peg. Hi, Barbara. Yeah, I saw Mary said she wasn't quite ready. And I was wondering about that when she said she was going to go live this morning because she needs to give that eye time to heal. No point in rushing that. Need to, probably shouldn't be watching a lot of screen time either if she's listening until that eye lens has settled in. just don't want to undo all the good work that the doctor did, is what I'm thinking. But I know how hard it is to stay away from the community when you're sick or whatever. And I'm just randomly stitching a couple different greens on here. And then I'll put some specks of snow, and then I'm going to put some gold around the little already embroidered on the fabric. And then I will layer another piece of fabric and just stitch around it and then trim all this stuff away. Oh, and I'll put a ribbon up here at the top so I can hang it on my tree. But these were fun to make. That aggravates me when people aren't respectful of the elderly too, Marty. Young people need to understand that one day they'll be old too and they'll be moving slow. Scott and I don't move as fast as we used to ourselves. Even we were out driving and we came to the conclusion that we've realized at this point in our life that you do not have to drive like a mad person to get anywhere. If you're late, you should have left earlier and just roll with it. Don't cause a wreck. Don't run over somebody on a bicycle just because you're a little late for work. Don't make it a regular habit of being late for work, and it won't be a problem if you're late every once in a while. Scott will say, I'm not on anybody's time. I'm on my time, and I'm not in a hurry. I think it goes back to it's not the destination that's the most important. It's the journey. So enjoy your journey at your own pace, in your own direction. Greg's having a horrible time adjusting to his new schedule, and they keep changing it. He's just started, and I think I think his schedule is going to be like 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. eventually, but I think he's been working 6 to 4, but it makes more sense in my mind that he would work 4 10-hour shifts, not 3 12-hour shifts. But I guess it all depends on what the company needs. All right, this is probably going to waste some thread, but I'm just going to catch this under here, a few stitches. And I got my pliers because my fingers don't work very good. Probably putting nicks in the end of it, but and horrors of horrors, I'm going to throw this little piece in the trash. But that's my little guy. And there's another one of those star things right there, but I'm just going to ignore that it's there. I know when I have to take Scott's mom anywhere, people are just kind of huffy like that. But I'm sorry, she's 95 years old. And she goes as quick as she can, and that's what's important. And getting her to use a cane or a walker is really hard because get this, she does not want to take her cane because she's afraid she'll leave it somewhere. And I told her, I said, I'm more concerned that you're on uneven, unfamiliar ground. It's not your house. And I'm worried you're going to fall. Oh, I'm not going to fall. I'm like, that's famous last words. As soon as you say you're not going to fall, that's when people generally fall. But she's not hearing it. That was me, Marty, when I worked at Michael's on, most mornings I had to be there at like 5 o'clock. But on Wednesdays, we had to be there at either 2 or 3 a.m. because that's when the truck was there and needed to be unloaded. But I would still go and I would sit in the car in the parking lot and wait for everybody to show up because I didn't want to be late. Because you don't know if your car is going to break down. You don't know if there's going to be a wreck that's going to delay you. And at that time, where I was working is over at the busiest part of the Columbia area over in Irmo, where they have all of the shopping. There's a big Columbiana mall. There's all kinds of strip malls over there, restaurants, movie theaters, and all that kind of thing. Um, and there's always a wreck on 26. 26, where it meets 126 in Columbia, is a cluster, you know what? And it's just, and well, let's see, you've got, before you get to where 26 and 126 connect or divide, right before that, there's the I-20 exit, and people will be on 26. They'll be on the inside lane, and there's like 4 lanes, and then up pops the 220, 20 west and 20 east exits, and people will come from that far left lane and they come straight across to get their exits. I've had people narrowly miss me when I was like in the lane that passed right by the exits where they should have been. Oh, I don't miss that drive, put it that way. And now I'm sitting here thinking that that was 7 years ago, almost 8, that I stopped working. Doesn't time pass faster and faster? Wow. I just can't believe it's been that long since I worked. Scott's enjoying his new job, and he really is enjoying teaching, but they don't have him signed up to teach another class this next semester yet, or whatever they call it now. It was semesters when I was in college, but now I think they call them something else. Crazy. Peg, I saw y'all have a new challenge up, and I missed the things in November for the pages. So I need to go back and catch up with you and Shell, because I've had so much fun working on those little challenges. And I came across them the other day and I'm like, oh, I missed a bunch of them. I need to go back and do those. And I also came across Tanya McGuire's postcard swap, where I need to stitch those together. I have basically a bunch of stuff I need to pull out and just get finished up. I've got that little glue journal that I need to finish that I started. I'm leaning. I don't. He needs to talk with his friend that got him the job teaching, and the boss, and see when they want him to teach another class or when another one will be available. Um, he was having trouble getting his email, and so he called the IT department last night to get his Midlands Tech email straightened out. And so they helped him get into it, and then he was laughing in the other room at his computer, and I'm like, "What's going on?" He said, "Well, instructions on how to do the email is in an email. I'm like, excuse me? He's like, yep, there's a whole email in there about what I was supposed to do to set up and get my email going and receiving it. I'm like, well, that was kind of a stupid place to put it. They should have had everybody that was new in for a email session at the IT department. Hi, Teresa. And I've been also working on the scrap gan. I'm calling it a scrap gan because I'm using scraps from the hats that I made for Lizzie, because I think it was 40 something hats for Lizzie Brewer for her hats for the homeless. So I've been working on that. And because I'm changing color, I have a bunch of tails I got to sit and sew in. So Peg is working on a journal. What's everybody else working on today? And those that just came in, do you have your Christmas tree up already? This is probably not how Carol would stitch this, but I'm doing Becky trees. Okay, enjoy your lunch, Barbara. Thanks for stopping in. My sisters and I, and my niece and her wife are having bao, B-A-O. I'm not sure what that is. I actually told her I just wanted Szechuan chicken over rice. So hot spicy for me. I'll let them try the stuff. It looks like dumplings. I've never had it, so I wasn't sure. So I went with something I knew. I know I'm not very I'm not game for too many new things. I guess I should be. I just know you can't go wrong with Szechuan. Well, you can, but it's been proven to be good to me in the past, so I figured I'd stick with that. So Teresa's working on some artist trading coins and a December daily journal. We're meeting at my youngest sister Rhonda's house. Yes, we're all R's. Rebecca, Robin, and Rhonda. We're the 3R sisters. I have another sister, Hazel, but she lives a ways from us. She was adopted, and Mom wanted to change her name to Rachel, but Hazel wasn't having no part of it. I'm Hazel. She was like 3. Or we would have all been R's. Oh, Marty says her coins are looking more like eggs. As long as they're roundish, it's okay. I found a bunch of chipboard that's already cut to ATC size, and I found some that look like they're cut to an art card size. So I need to do some art on those and just turn them into either tiny journals or send them out in Happy Mail. I know I owe Artful Esther and Shannon Art Junkie some artist trading cards. So I need to work on that. I need to make some artist trading cards. But I've been thinking about putting the tree up, trying to get myself psyched up to do it. So I said, well, maybe if I go on and I stitch some on that ornament, maybe I'll get inspired to set the tree up. Right now, I'm just not real inspired about it. Just not feeling Christmas this year. Put this one strand of dark around a little bit, and then I'll put some snow on it, and I'm going to call this one done. There you go. I'm sure they will, Marty. Oh, and I had put lines on here to add like snow underneath. So I might have to do that. Add a little bit of put some of this white down on there, maybe with some of the little blingity bits in it. So the neighbor cats, I did not know their names. And they've been coming over to me because they act like they're starving all the time. So I've been putting food out for them, the two neighbor cats. Well, now I'm putting out food, and some of the kittens that they turned out have been coming over. But the kittens are starting to go missing one by one. So I don't know what's happening to them. They're old enough they can run around on their own, and they're old enough to do adult things, put it that way. So I think the males have all started wandering off looking for female cats in heat. So anyhow, back to the two original cats that moved in next door. I've been calling the one that's real fluffy, I've been calling it Fluffy Butt. And so the other day, I was going to the mailbox and Fluffy Butt was following along, and the neighbor, she pulls up. And the cat's just following me along, and she started calling Yoda. The Fluffy Butt's actual name is Yoda. It's not cross stitch, and I don't know if Carol would call it embroidery. I'm just kind of putting chicken scratch down and calling it a tree. I drew the design, and Carol had said, keep it simple. Yeah, and I didn't follow that. So I'm still stitching on it. But anyway, the cat's name is Yoda. And I've been calling it a girl. And I guess with its name being Yoda, it's a male cat. But it and the one we call Little Bit, I don't know Little Bit's real name, but they stick pretty close and they follow me along. And I think the neighbor girl can't understand why her cats won't come to her anymore, but she pays very little attention. Anybody that has cats knows that cats love to be talked to. They love a little noogie on their head every once in a while. They do not like being ignored. So, yeah. I mean, her cat flat out ignored her and wouldn't even, oops, wouldn't even go to her. He sure was talking to me. I was like, "Hey, lady, are you gonna put some more food out? We're about to starve over here." I probably should have put the dark on first, but I'll add a little bit of white here and there, and it'll look like snow. There's also Christmas lights at the zoo. I could do that. I have a membership to the zoo, but I think you have to pay extra to get in to see the lights at Christmas. I need to check into that. It's really pretty, but the animals are all put up at night, but the Christmas lights are pretty. I could do that one night. So, I mean, there are Christmas things that I could share with you guys and participate, I guess, in the whole Christmas thing, but I'm trying to make these random because if you look at trees in nature, they're random. They're not equal. They're not, every branch has six needles or whatever. That's not nature. As Scott says, nature abhors a monoculture culture. Yeah, I'm not even following an actual stitch guide or any of that. I'm just kind of throwing a stitch in here and throwing a stitch in there and filling it up. Oh, Marty's allergic to kitty cats. Oh dear. You couldn't visit me then, Marty, because I have a lot of cats here. Yeah, I think it's funny how some people will be fine as children, but as you get older, your allergy to cats gets worse. I've seen that happen to several people I know. But these guys, I wouldn't trade them for anything. They're absolutely hilarious. The boys had a game. Callie decided, with it being 35 degrees outside, that it was the perfect place she needed to be. So I let her go out on the catio. And I told her, I said, that concrete's going to be cold. And then I came back in after letting her out there, shut the door and everything. And here come the boys flying through. They're like, I'm not going out. They had a game going. They were flying through this room, making all kinds of racket. It's probably why they're all passed out right now in different chairs. Tippy's behind me and Howard's over that way. Me too. Before you know it, a bunch of time has passed. Oh, the grape pie mystery. I got to tell you guys about the grape pie mystery. I had baked a mincemeat pie and a pumpkin pie and took it over to my mother-in-law's. And we told her that we would not be back on Thanksgiving, but we'd come for leftovers the next day. Well, she and my sister-in-law were going to go to Tennessee because Scott's brother had a bad biking accident and he had to have a hip replacement. So Scott's mom had been wanting to see him. And so Adele drove her mom up to Tennessee. And We got over there for our leftovers, and we were pulling everything out because, of course, we have a key to Mother's house because at 95, if she falls, we've got to be able to get in. So I had everything pulled out, and Scott's like, "Where are the pies?" And we started looking, and I said, "Well, go check the refrigerator out in the shed, out in the they have an outside room." So he went out there with the key and looked, and he said, "Nope, no pies." We never could find the pies. And I thought, well, maybe they took them to Tennessee. And Scott says, "Well, I don't know why they would take the mincemeat. I'm the only one that likes it." And I was like, "Well, I'll make you another mincemeat at Christmas, but I have leftover pumpkin in the refrigerator that needs to be used. I'll make us another pumpkin pie because I didn't want the whipped cream to go bad." So I made the pie, and they got back and they were like, "Why didn't y'all eat pie?" We're like, "We looked and looked and looked for it." "Oh, we had to put it in the oven because there wasn't any room in the refrigerators." And so, anyway, we brought the mincemeat pie home. Scott finished his last piece last night. We were just so puzzled that we could not find those pies anywhere. But I told Scott, I said, "That pumpkin pie doesn't look right. It needed to have been refrigerated." I said, "I wouldn't eat any of it." So we threw that out and cleaned the pie plate. So anyway, mystery solved. But it was so funny. We looked and looked and looked. I didn't think to look in the oven. I don't do that. I don't put food in the oven, but you know, my in-laws do. And I always forget they do that. So now I'll remember to look in the oven. I take an allergy pill every day because there's so many allergens here in South Carolina with all the moisture. I have to take, I'm actually supposed to take two different ones, one for daytime, one for night, but I'm going back to just over the counter stuff and not the prescription because with this, we have this high cost insurance through the temp agency that Scott works for. So I'm trying to cut the cost. Yeah, me neither, Peg. I would never, especially pumpkin. I mean, it's got egg in it. Yeah, I just wouldn't think of it. I just realized I've made rows across, but on this stitching. And the snowman I did with the punch needle thread. I don't have the pokey needle thing, so I just hand stitched with it. That's why he looks dimensional. I'm going to get another piece of this because I don't like to work with it when it's too short. And I got to do the trunk of the tree as well. I forgot there's a little trunk to the tree there. I know. That's what Scott said. "Oh, it should be fine." And I tasted a little bit of it and it didn't taste right. I I was like, no. I don't like bought pie crust at all. I don't even like the refrigerated Pillsbury stuff. It's not flaky like mine. When you overwork pie crust and you chill it and all of that, you don't get a nice flaky pie crust. You get one that's kind of rubberized because the gluten has been excited too much. And yeah, pie crust you're supposed to handle very little. And I don't chill my pie crust, but I keep my Crisco in the refrigerator so it's chilled when I make the pie crust. And I go straight from mixing it up to rolling it out. I don't chill it. I don't let it rest or anything. I handle it very little. Once it's mixed up and combined, I divide it, roll it out, and go. I don't put it in the refrigerator wrapped in plastic to chill. I don't do any of that. And everybody that tries my pie crust loves it, says it's the flakiest they've ever had. And I'm always the one asked to bake the pies. So there must be something I'm doing right if everybody would prefer my pies over bought or somebody else making the pies. Here shortly, the airplanes will start going. I do not. I use Crisco shortening only because that's what my grandmother always used was Crisco. Not store brand or any of that. Just Crisco vegetable shortening. I think lard makes too heavy of a pie crust for me. I like a nice light pie crust. Some people swear by using real lard, and I just don't like it. I don't like a heavy pie crust. When you handle your pie crust too much, that's when you lose the control you have. When I'm doing my fluted edges, everybody says your fluted edges always come out perfectly. It's because I don't overhandle the pie crust. When you overhandle it, it causes it to turn rubbery. And that's because you've excited the gluten. You've made the gluten become too active. It's I can't scientifically describe it, but if you handle it too much, it's basically over with when it comes to a nice light crust. You use Crisco too? Yeah, and I store mine in the fridge, so I get that chilled effect without having, and I use cold water. My grandmother's pie crust recipe is in my head. I can do it without looking it up anymore. When Scott worked for big companies and there was like a group of engineers, I would bake a pie for each of the engineers' families. So I'd make 6 to 10 pies at Christmas, and Scott would just give them to his coworkers. And now we don't have that, so I don't have the opportunity to bake apple pies. I would do apple pies because most everybody loves apple pies. And so after doing that many pies, you get those recipes are kind of ingrained into your head. You use ice water. Yep. That you store in the fridge. Well, I just use the cold water from the tap. I probably could put it in the fridge, but I haven't. But if everything's cold, all of the shortening and the water and all of that, you don't have to do that chilling business. I just go straight in and roll it out. So I think at Christmas, I'm going to do Scott a mincemeat pie. And for Greg, I'm going to do a blueberry pie. And I think we might do just a small little Christmas on our own on Christmas Day, cook for ourselves here, um, and take some of the load off my mother-in-law. Unless I don't know, I'm I'm toying with what we were going to do. I don't feel like she should be cooking and at all anymore because it does her in, but she forgets. So, oh no, I can do. And then we'll get over there. I cannot do this again. And Scott will say, Mother, you've been saying that for the last 10 years, but you won't let us take control and do it. I told him, I said, we need to just tell her no. I know it's hard for her to give it up because she wants to still be the nurturing mama, you know? But even my brother-in-law's wife, she said, "Oh, she looked bad." And I'm like, "She can't do this." We all need to get on the same page and say, "Nope, we're bringing this, this, and this. You're not doing anything." You know, I would have her come here. I would go get her and bring her over here, but she can't get in our house because she can't do the two steps from the bonus room up into the kitchen, and we don't have a rail out there. I told Scott, I said, what we need to do is have wooden steps with a rail put up out there so she could get in. You know, I think about doing things here at the house, but then I think this could be our last Christmas with her, you know, and she doesn't want to go anywhere. The only way, and we always do Christmas Eve with her. I don't know. It's hard when a parent reaches that age. It's really hard. Use butter when you make cream pies. My grandmother used to make a banana coconut cream pie. Oh my word, that was just so delicious. Sounds like the printer is cleaning itself over there, or Greg's printing something. Oh, that would be so good. I would probably be the only one to eat it because Scott's not real big on cream pies or um oh, and he hates lemon meringue. And see, I don't like the lemon meringue that's made with the sweet milk. I like the one that's real shiny yellow um, lemon meringue. That's the kind I grew up with my grandma. And then you cook the meringue so it's a little brown on top. Oh, that's so good. Grandma would make all that kind of stuff and take it to the little church we attended. All right. I've got these reddish browns here all pulled off. Let's see if I can separate some and fix this stem here. Yeah, I don't use butter. I use Crisco. Lemon meringue was your mom's favorite? Oh, I can't see this. Let's see here. Yes, I need new glasses. But we had a little bit of an oopsie. Scott didn't get me on the insurance for the vision care, the glasses and the dental, so we have to pay that out of pocket. He has to work for this company for 9 months before they'll hire him on directly from this temp agency. So in July, we'll go through the whole reassignment on insurance and all that again. Scott said he would take me to my sister's and drop me off tonight. I know I'm all over the place conversational wise, but that's how my brain is working today. It's just like working on plans for later, working on, you know, it's generally why I don't do a early morning live, because my brain's working on planning the day out and random will pop out of my mouth. Beth has been painting some really pretty pictures. I've been doing so much with fabric. I've been trying not to pull out too much paint and stuff, because paint projects and fabric projects are not a good combination on my work table. I'm hoping Greg is falling asleep out there. Because he's got to work tonight. It'll be bad if he's not gotten any sleep. He spends all night driving a fork truck. That's a good enough stem. We're not going to do that one. Too crazy. I'm probably putting burrs on that needle. And I think this gets on this spool. Oh dear, it's coming undone. Okay. I'm trying to clean this mess of thread up. Is that what it is, Marty? It's just how our brains are wired. We're just always going on to the next thing. Could be. There's like a random reddish colored floss here that I don't know where that came from. I think that's more of it. Nope, that's, I don't know. I'm just, shh, don't tell anybody I threw that out. Okay. All right. Now, I want to put a little snow on here. And I've got this stuff here. That punch needle stuff that I got thrifting has really come in handy, even for just stitching. Now, I don't know if I can get this through this needle. I might have to go hunting for a different needle. Or what did I do? I did some, maybe I used the needle threader. Let me see. I think I saw one in here. Oh, Marty, don't tell on me. I've been finding so much floss at the thrift store. Oh, Scott and I went to Goodwill. Was that through that? Tuesday. I'll have to show you guys what I picked up. We went to the bins first because they were going to be closing soon. And as soon as we walked through, we're closing in 30 minutes. And I'm like, well, that means we have 30 minutes. We can look around. They didn't want us in there. They wanted to be able to just close the registers and leave. They had already dumped everything into just a few bins. That place is crazy. I mean, they're ready to go way before it's time to close. I guess they don't want anybody in there after closing. They probably just lock the drawers up and leave. Who knows? I've never worked there, but It's just so funny because it's like they're trying to kick us out as soon as we've just walked in. Like, we're not gonna stay forever. I'm trying to get close to this edge, but I don't wanna go beyond this because that's where I wanna stitch. I'm just gonna put a few stitches here and there to make it look like snow has landed on branches. Marty's telling on me. Jeez, tattletale. Anyway, the sun's coming up. It's looking really pretty on the hawthorn cherry in the front yard. That Scott and I have noticed that the fall colors are really hanging on a long time because usually everything is gone by now here. Usually, by November, we're looking at just empty branches. I told Scott the other day that I wanted to show him something this weekend because I think one of these oak trees out front, the one that has the bird feeder on it, I think it's starting to die. You can tell when a tree is sick because it'll start losing little sections of bark toward the bottom, and you can see they rot from the inside out. So if you pay attention, you can tell if a tree's getting weak. And we've been having these high winds come through, and I'm always afraid it's going to keel over one of these trees. We had that one tree fall on Greg's truck that he had at the time that killed that truck. I mean, bent that truck right in half. I was on the news for that one. They were getting people on the street to talk about all the trees that were down. And they interviewed me on the news. I thought that was hilarious. Yeah, I don't know about being a celebrity. I don't think I'd wish that on my worst enemy, being a celebrity. I appreciate their talents, but man, I wouldn't want that live. Would y'all want that live? They were stealing mobile homes. How do you even do that? Sounds like a good reason to make sure you have the tires removed from your mobile home. Wow. That's crazy, Teresa. Now, I think Carol was doing something stitching either today or tomorrow. I can't remember. I saw it on her channel that she was planning to do that. She is now known as the Canadian Artisan and not Magical Touch Studios. You all know me by Aunt Beck's Creations, so I just stay there. I think I'm going to take a break from stitching. All I'm doing is adding just a few white stitches here and there on this tree to kind of make it look like it's got snow here and there, like I did on this one. This one I got too stitchy, and I like this one looser. Maybe they're just two different age trees. And then I'm going to put some snow underneath the trees and the snowman and then gold around the star, and then I'll make it into an ornament. But I'm going to take a break. I'm going to bring you up so you get to see my sleepy cat over there. I'm going to move you around. Hi, guys. Let me get the stuff that we got at the Goodwill. Like I said, it wasn't much. I got a pack of bias tape for $1.89. That was at the regular retail side. And then the other thing I got at the regular retail side was a quilt block a day calendar from 2006. And it had a purple tag on it, and purple tags were 50% off. So I got it for half of $2.89. Yeah, I had seen this in there the last time we were in. And all of it's here. So I thought it might be fun to go through, maybe do a block together every once in a while. So we might do some quilt project. Something's got me choked. And then at the bins, I saw this in the bin. Look how fat it is. It's all this double layer lace. I'll probably put some of this in some Happy Mail because I'm never going to be able to use all this up. But I couldn't see it going to the trash because once it's been at the bins, then it's not long before they send it to the dumpster. So I grabbed it. But it's already sewn together, red and green lace. And I think we spent $3 at the bins and $3 at the retail side, because the one that's closest to us, on one side they have the closeout clearance bins where they just dump everything in bins and you have to paw through it for like $1.89 a pound, and books are like 75 cents a pound. And then on the other side, it's the regular retail where they price individual items like this. So I got that. Like I said, there's so much there. I'm going to have to gift it away. And it was like they cleared out grandma's cross stitch, the pre-printed stuff. And first I came across this pre-printed chart here. And it's the cutest little friendship saying, and it's got birds on it. You see them? What a great way for a day to begin when the door swings open and a friend says, "Come in." So I went looking. It smells smelly a little bit, but I'm not going to wash it because I don't want to damage it before I can stitch it. And then I found the guide for it. So I grabbed the guide. They were all just loose in the bin. The only thing I need to find out, and on this chart, you can see where the different stitches are denoted by different things where it's stamped on here. I've never done a stamped cross stitch. But what I need to find out is it's got the numbers for each of the stitches and everything. But I need to know if those reference numbers are for DMC floss, blah, blah. But I'm thinking it's Minerva because it says Columbia Minerva. Read all instructions before starting to work. Follow the step-by-step instructions for a professional look. Finished size is 14 by 18. Out of Robinsonia, Pennsylvania. Wonder if I wrote to this address here and asked them what these colors are. I don't know, but it's got the color names too. So I'm thinking I could probably look through my DMC floss and just find colors in those color schemes. It sure would be nice to be able to use the right thread though, you know. So that was all we picked up at the Goodwill. I can show you the scrap gan. You can't see well enough to thread a needle. Now, these little threaders, the little metal ones like this, are nice, but I have another one that's a firm metal that I like better that's in my sewing kit. I didn't tell you all about that either. That's my Christmas present. Scott let me buy a new machine for Christmas. But I like this needle threader better. It's got 2 hooks on it. This one's for smaller needles, and this is for like yarn needles. But I like this one better. And I think this came with, it says Lorraine on it. Lorain. I think that's what that says. But I like this one because it's a nice firm metal and it doesn't bend and pull apart. Sometimes the wire will pull out of these. And sometimes I can't see the wire to put the thread through that. So I've got more of the metal ones in here. But anyway, yep, Scott let me get this. It's Singer Heavy Duty. Says it'll sew through denim hems. It's not the computer one. I didn't want the computer. I don't want the computer. I have a fancy schmancy one that's got electronics to it, and the plastic on it fell apart. So I got this one. It's got the 2 knobs. I haven't threaded it up yet. I just made a home for it to live here. So this machine's going to be set up to sew woven fabrics. So it'll have a sharp needle in it. And my old machine, my dressmaker, I'm going to set up with a ballpoint needle and the new stretch thread, where you're supposed to be able to sew knits with a straight seam with this new thread. And there are 2 different companies doing it. I know I dropped that thread in this bag. Maybe I put it on. But Coates & Clark also has an elastic thread that'll sew straight seams on knits. So I'll have that one for knits. And then over on the table, I have my serger to finish seams. So over on the dining room table, I told Scott I need a short table just for the serger to stick somewhere. I don't know where I'll stick it. But so that's why I've got 2 machines up here now. I also have a machine on the floor there that is really old, only does straight stitches, weighs a ton. And I save it to do quiltings. Sometimes I'll pull it out if I want to like go out on the porch and I can sit out there and I can just sew squares together. And then I have my old quilter star. And the reason I was holding on to it is because it has the automatic buttonhole sewer. But the new machine does that. So I'm going to take that quilter star and it's going to be my paper machine where I can sew paper stuff. So now I have an official paper sewing machine because it doesn't matter if I can go backwards or not. I can just sew things together and not worry about whether it comes unsewn. That's the whole reason I quit using the quilter stars. The reverse knob snapped off and you cannot get that part anymore. I did find a Tokyo replacement in Australia. So it would, for a piece this big, was going to cost me $40 in shipping alone for like a $4 part. So I said, no, that's it. So I'm going to show you this scrap gan, and then I think I'm going to sign off for today because my throat is about to give out. Let's draw up a loop so that I don't start pulling things out. But I'm doing another surprise, a corner to corner. And I'm using I had two different skeins of gray that I got at the thrift store, and you can kind of see where that gray color change was, but it doesn't really, it's not that big of a difference. And then the rest is just scrappy balls left over from the hat project with oh my goodness, y'all know who I'm talking about. I was going to say Nettie, but it's not Nettie. Lizzie Brewer. So, hello Roy, good morning. So I'm gonna work on this some more. I am so, see, you can tell how short this row is. And right now each row makes it shorter because I'm working to the opposite corner. But then I've got to sew in all of these tails that are everywhere. And what's really funny, let me show you something. So I was doing this lime green and I got over here and I ran out of yarn. So there's one little square of shocking neon green right there that you won't be able to see very much when I'm going to put an edging on this one because I like to frame these out. But yeah, I think it's pretty with the gray and the scraps. And I took it to my mother-in-law's the other day and I was working on it. She says, oh, and that one won't show a lot of dirt. I'm like, no, it won't show a lot of dirt. She said she loved it. And I looked up lap gans, and they can be 32 to 48 by 35 to 40. This is going to be a 48-inch square plus the border. And I'm thinking this would be a good size to keep in the car in the winter. So this will be one of the things I give at Christmas time, I think. I had my thought for Christmas for handmade items is I was just going to do various things up and put them in a tub. And then when each person wants to get something from me at Christmas, I thought about handing out numbers and making everybody, go by their number if we were getting together with anybody. And then they could pick something from the tub. But then the next person could take what that person had picked and make them pick again, or they could just go to the tub and pick. So it could be a fun game, but I don't know if anybody'd go for it. But anyway, that was just an idea. All right, guys, I guess I'll let you go. I need to go get something else to drink, and then I'll finish stitching on my snowman because I do want to get him finished up, and then I might stitch on this other. Now, it's also Thursday, so Anne, I think, should be having her crafting chat today at 10 o'clock. So if you guys want to come in Anne's room, that'd be awesome. I think I saw something about Carol was going to do something as well. So I guess just play it by ear and show up wherever you want to be. You're going to anyway. Anyhow, that's all I have. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.